Hi everybody. This is the time of year where we plant our garlic, and this is a spot that I have here in Connecticut. Our farm is up in Maine, but in Connecticut I like to grow some of our garlic seed. We do little experiments here. I like to try different things, different fertilizers, and so this is actually in my backyard. And this is 50 feet long, and it's probably it's about 100 feet wide here. I actually have a little garden down the other end every year, but what we're doing this year, because it gets pretty damp here in the spring, is I like to make row hills. And so I rake up, after I till it really well, I rake up some row hills here. And then I flatten off the top, and then I plant the garlics in the hills. And in the winter time, the water is down at the bottom of the gullies here. They keep pretty dry. They keep above any of this really heavy rains or anything. It keeps above that. And I try to, even though it's a little bit higher at the bottom, it's sloped a little bit here. And so I try to drain out that water in the spring when it really puddles up a lot in the spring rains. But it keeps the garlic dry. And so depending on where you are, that defines if you do this or not. And so right here, what I'm doing is I'm planting some elephant garlic, and this is elephant garlic here. And last year we had a lot of rounds come up, and elephant garlic, the first year you plant them, a lot of times they'll give you these rounds, and they're a lot like onions, and you can see how big they are. That's a good sized elephant to plant, and that should grow into a really nice big elephant bulb next year. And so as you can see here, this is my third row that I have done, and after I've leveled it off, you want to give yourself a good 6 inches apart, because elephants get pretty big. And so what I've done is leveled the top of this row off, and then I took the end of my hoe and I pushed down and made this little pattern of 5 here, which looks like 3s. It depends how you see it. And this row right here, 50 feet long, comes out to 152 elephant plants that'll be popping up next March sometime. They come up like tulips. They're one of the first things that pop up. And so we take these here, and some of them actually are big, the bulbs that I split, and you can pull those off, and that's a pretty big clove to put in the ground right there. As you can see, 2 of them fill my hand, and my hands aren't that small. It's pretty big. So what I'm doing is after I made those little, I push in with the hose there, I make these little divots in the ground. You just push them down in, make the points up and the roots down, and you push them down in there 1 or 2 inches. Right? Here's another big one. Taking this one and pushing it right down in there, and you can see them there. They fill these little holes up pretty good. Here's another one, and push that down in there, and just keep on going until you get all of your elephant done, get them all planted, and then I rake them over. And what I'm going to try this year, I've never tried it, but my daughter has a lot of rabbits, considering she's got like 19 rabbits, and they have stockpiled a lot of rabbit manure. And so what I'm going to do this year, wow, look at that one. Oh, that's a big one. What I'm going to do this year is I'm going to put a nice big thick layer of rabbit manure right on top, and then I'm going to mulch right over it with grass and leaves, a couple inches, and I'm going to do all these rows with that rabbit manure and that'll have all winter to that manure juice soaking down in there, and then in the spring it'll be all around the elephant bulbs, and the mulch will keep the weeds from coming up. Plus it kept it from really freezing. It doesn't really, in Connecticut here, it doesn't freeze real hard. The ground really never freezes like it does in Maine. Sometimes in Maine you might get a foot of frost, frozen soil, so the elephant doesn't do so well up there in Maine. Here in Connecticut it seems to grow pretty well. And so we're going to try this. We're going to see how it goes. And we'll see what happens in the spring. But, I'm very, very hopeful that these grow to be softball size. That's what we had last year, some softball size elephants. And it's funny too, when you notice in the spring, some of the plants, they won't have scapes. And the scapes are the part that shoots up and has it has a little blossom to it, just like regular garlic or even onions. It blossoms out kind of like an onion plant. And the ones that don't have scapes turned out to make these rounds in here. And the rounds are excellent to plant. You don't have to pop them, and they make some real nice bulbs the year after that. So here we go. So I'm on my third row. I've probably got maybe 10 to go, and I left a little squash there. I'm going to be tilling that in a little while. The frost has not come yet, but a couple of weeks those will be dead, and I'll finish this off. I have a lot of music to plant to see how well the rabbit manure does here. Yeah, rabbit manure's got a lot of ammonia in it, and it's a little different than cow manure. Just experimenting. I've tried horse manure. That seems to work good too. So whatever you got, use it. All right, I'll make a little video. I'm going to Maine next week, and we're gonna plant a lot of music. We've probably got at least 20,000 cloves to plant up there. So between that and here, we got about 20. We'll have 25,000 plants this year. All right, we'll see you in a while. What a beautiful day.